Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well. The New York Knicks came out victorious 101-69, advancing to 2-0 in the Summer League, and this game was literally over from the very beginning. You could say the Golden State Warriors game, that game was competitive for at least 3/4 of basketball, or a little over than 3/4 of basketball, but this game, just slaughterfest. Faron Hunt driving down the lane, aggressive. It just looked like we're more physical. It looked like we're more disciplined, making the extra pass, playing as a team, the spacing, the defense. We're up in guys' jersey. It was just absolutely amazing, the discipline, us making our shots from the very beginning. We were on fire from downtown at the very beginning of the game, but then we only ended up finishing like 8 for 30, 9 for 30 from downtown. It was not great, but when you just saw the effort, it was like, yeah, we're going to win this game. And if you're looking for like a competitive basketball game, this definitely wasn't it. The Chicago Bulls didn't score their first field goal. They made some free throws before that. They got into the bonus, I believe, but they didn't score their first field goal until 2:50 left in the first quarter. It was an absolute slaughter. It was just really, really bad to watch from a competitive standpoint. But if I'm being real with you guys, the New York Knicks have more experienced talent. Not saying they have more talent, even though I do believe that, but from an experience standpoint, the Knicks have more experience. Jericho Sims has he's played valuable minutes his rookie year. You take a look at Miles McBride. A couple times he did play some valuable minutes. He's gotten minutes regardless in the NBA. Quentin Grimes, even Faron Hunt, played some minutes with the Dallas Mavericks. He was in that Raptors game. He was in the Wizards game as well, I believe, towards the tail end of the season. So we've seen guys like members of the New York Knicks Summer League team. They've gotten that experience. They've been in NBA games. Well, yes, you could say Dalen Terry, a first round draft pick for the Chicago Bulls. He's talented, but he's still raw. He needs to put it together. I was impressed with his composure when he was struggling or when the team was down. He didn't get frustrated with his teammates. So I really liked seeing that out of Dalen Terry. But besides that, like, wow, we're going to have guys that are going to have to contribute right away, like a Sims, like a Grimes, that type of thing, or even McBride as a bench piece, maybe if someone gets hurt. The Chicago Bulls have guys that are fighting for roster spots, if it's in Italy, if it's in Greece, trying to get on a two-way contract to try to even get valuable minutes in the NBA, just trying to get into the G League, or they're pretty much going to end up playing the G League. So from an experience standpoint of just being in competitive games, seeing certain defenses and that type of thing, you kind of knew the Knicks were going to come out victorious, but just from a physical standpoint, from wanting it more, there's kind of no excuse. Like, you need to compete, and it looked like the Bulls weren't really competitive at the very beginning, but then eventually they started playing very hard or much better, and it just looked like they weren't on the same page, turning the ball over a lot or scoring a lot in transition, while the New York Knicks were on the same page for all 4/4 of basketball. So 101-69 was the final score. But let's get into the players. I'm not going to be giving you guys some play-by-play of this blowout. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, what you guys are really looking forward to in this video. So I thought everyone played their roles very well. Everyone played fantastic defense. But we got to start off with Quentin Grimes. We know Quentin Grimes was very inefficient in that first half of that Golden State Warriors game. Everyone was saying he sucks, he's bricking, overreacting. The only time I didn't overreact in my life. Like, I swear I overreact all the freaking time. But then he was much better in the second half, and that definitely carried over to the Chicago Bulls game. He was extremely efficient, 7 for 14, 4 of 9 from downtown, didn't miss a free throw, 6 for 6. He had 4 rebounds, he had 4 assists, a plus minus, a plus 23. He did have 4 turnovers, but that's because he handled the ball a lot out there on the floor. And he had 24 points, and I believe he had 24 points last game as well. So I liked his approach this game. I wouldn't say he completely played inside out, but I saw more of an attacking Quentin Grimes. He had one nice move. He had a nice crossover, created separation, worked downhill. I was like, damn, he lost it, but then they called a foul. So he was able to create separation off the bounce. We didn't get to see a lot of that. You could say he's kind of been restricted in a box when he's been playing with the New York Knicks, not fully seeing his skill set. You could say that's because of our vanilla offense, Tom Thibodeau not having trust in him yet, or yeah, just being restricted in the box. So we could talk about him shooting very well from the outside, drawing fouls, attacking the basket. I love that aggressiveness. We know he's mentally tough. We know he's a great defensive player, gets in players' jerseys, and plays the passing lanes very well. He's very smart when it comes to that side of things. But the playmaking is the most impressive thing by far when it comes to Quentin Grimes. His playmaking was off the charts. Again, he's not playing up against qualified or proven NBA like solid starters when it comes to the NBA Summer League, but his vision, the way he was seeing the floor, was really brilliant in my opinion. The pace he was playing at, he did have some questionable reads, but there was some miscommunication. Some guys should have been in the corner. They're moving when they shouldn't have moved. That happened to Miles McBride. That happened to other players as well. But that's going to happen when you haven't played with like some of these guys that are on the Summer League team. like ever really. Yes, you play with them in practice, but there's still like a chemistry thing there. So there was two plays that blew me away. So he had 4 assists, and I believe like 2 or 3 of them was the Jericho Sims. So the 2 assists that really caught my eye was when he dribble penetrated, got the defense to collapse, and he had a beautiful behind the back pass to Jericho Sims. That freaking blew me away. The other play I thought was even more impressive coming out of the half. Him attacking the basket over the head, like the behind the head pass to Jericho Sims for the slam. I'm like, I saw Sims cutting, but I don't know if Grimes saw it. So from a playmaking standpoint, there definitely is something there. You don't just make those passes by accident. I'm not saying he's the next Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Magic Johnson, or anything like that. But there definitely is some vision there. There definitely is more IQ there than we got to see last year. So from a mentally tough standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, him knocking down shots, being composed throughout this game, distributing the ball, him on defense. Quentin Grimes had a fantastic game, no doubt about it. I understand it's just summer league, but we got to talk about Jericho Sims. Jericho Sims, in my opinion, was the player of the game. And then there's another sleeper, or there's a sleeper in my opinion that came off the bench, but Jericho Sims, 58th overall pick, had a great game last game. He racked up another double-double. Oh my, it's so much fun watching this dude rebound the basketball, just elevate over everyone. He positions himself well, but there's times like he doesn't even need to position himself. He could just out jump everyone, and that's what Jericho Sims did a lot of this game. He would just snag rebounds casually. Oh yeah, my head just above the rim. Like it's just so much fun to watch. I thought his feel was pretty good out there. He had like 2 or 3 assists. He wasn't just like looking at the basket or just looking at the first read. It looked like he was reading the floor pretty well, of like what's going on out there on the floor. So from an IQ standpoint, I did like what I saw from Sims. He did end up with like 5 turnovers, but that's because you saw this in the Warriors game as well. He would snag a rebound, dribble it up the floor, then give it to the guard. Or if there's nothing there, then I'm going to give it up. So we saw a lot of that he's dribbling the ball up the floor, but not really attacking. This time, we saw an attacking type of Jericho Sims working down the lane, trying to make plays for his teammates. So the aggressiveness, the communication by Grimes, and you saw the same thing with Jericho Sims. It looked as soon as you think someone has an open three, the recovery with his wingspan is just insane. He moves his feet so well outside on the perimeter. The defense again as a whole was amazing. They were contesting every shot, it seemed like. Eventually the Bulls got some quality shots, but because it's gonna happen, you're not gonna play perfect defense all the time. But from a discipline standpoint, I thought he played pretty good defense. How many fouls? He finished with 4 fouls actually in 23 minutes. He didn't foul out, because I saw some guys that had like 7 fouls. It's 10 fouls and you foul out in the summer league. But let's get into like what's important here of something we haven't seen from Jericho Sims. And it might bring another element. I'm not saying he's going to end up doing this in the regular season, but you kind of see the capability here, and he's not going up against a backup NBA center. But how about when he got it near the key, or got it kind of in mid-range territory, rip through, kind of spin into the post a little bit, baby hook. I was like, wow. He's not afraid to attempt them. I love it. It's summer league. Don't be afraid to attempt them. And I just thought he was a beast when it came to trying things that are new out there on the floor. He did try to do too much sometimes when he snagged the rebound and brought it up the floor, because his handle is loose, but I like that he wasn't afraid to try things. And the other play, he had it near the 3-point line or way outside of deep 2 territory. I believe it was like top of the key, a little on the left wing. I believe it was the top of the key. He dribbled all the way down when he attacked the paint. He used some finesse here. He had a spin move layup. Attacking off the dribble, spin move layup. I'm like, I like that, Sims. He's working on something, unless he just pulled that out of his ass. But when it comes to just us, he just gives it his all. How can you not love this dude? I'm really glad that we extended him. He's going to be great for our depth. I know some people that are concerned, like, I don't know, I kind of might want him as a backup big. Why'd we sign Isaiah Hartenstein? Maybe because Hartenstein brings a little more polish when it comes to passing and potential spacing of the floor. Sims still needs to work on his free throws, though. But from seeing things out there on the floor, to bringing another element offensively, not being afraid to try things. Again, we know his athleticism off the charts, but Sims, you look at his stats, he had 11 points, 5 for 6 from the field, 1 for 5 from the free throw line, needs to improve. Was much better last game. I believe he only missed like 1 or 2 free throws. He had 10 rebounds, 4 of them were offensive rebounds, 5 turnovers. Did a little too much at times. So Miles McBride, I thought he was all right. Like I'm lukewarm with Miles McBride, because He's kind of an old school type of guard that's going to get up in your jersey, play really hard defense, make the fundamental passes. He's a very fundamental type of guard. Like, I don't mind having him on this roster forever as a very nice depth piece. Just someone that could come off the bench and produce like a good defensive spark. Because of offensively, I'm still not going to be sold on him. Yes, he had 14 points. He hit some contested shots. The thing with McBride, it's going to be hard to really be sold on someone that's 6 foot, 6'1", that can't create consistent separation, especially to get into the teeth of the defense or outside on the perimeter. Because I'm like, if you're attempting a lot of perimeter contested jumpers in the summer league, how is he going to really perform off the dribble, create separation in the big leagues when it comes to the official regular season and all that? So I'm still lukewarm with him when it comes to that, but I thought he passed the ball pretty well. Again, he's just rock solid. That's what I see out of Miles McBride. I thought he played a pretty good game when it came to the point guard position. Faron Hunt didn't stack up the stat sheet like last. He still had 3 steals though. It's so funny. He had like a quiet game compared to last game because he only had 5 points, didn't do much offensively. That's not really his forte. And yeah, like I mentioned, just 36% 3-point shooter when it came to Westchester Knicks, attempting like 3.2 threes per game over there. But he still quietly had 3 steals, 1 block, because he's constantly in the play. He's constantly in the right place at the right time. And he set the tone with us attacking the basket very strong. So Faron Hunt, credit to him. Trey Kells, he really struggled from the field. I know he ended up hitting like a step back 2. I think they count as a 2, not a 3. But he was 1 for 4 from 3, 2 for 10 from the field, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And he even said in an interview, he doesn't care about his stats, doesn't care about his points. He just cares about winning and impacting winning basketball. He tries very hard out there on the floor. He's 18 years old. We're going to see a lot of him in the G League, hear a lot about him in the G League, and just hopefully his progression. We know he's a strong body, but he needs to get better when it comes to feel, his jumper. But no doubt about it, he tried on the defense side of the basketball, played extremely hard. So 2 sleepers I'm going to be talking about here, actually. I'm going to be talking about Micah Potter. Micah Potter, I actually liked what I saw from Micah Potter. I'm not saying he's going to make the roster or be on a 2-way, but he did a pretty good job on the boards. I thought he was a solid rim protector. I thought he ran the floor pretty well. He was in the right spot at the right time, had good positioning on offense. He didn't have crazy stats, but 6 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block in 13 minutes. He had 1 great defensive play in the first half when he slid over. Good job rotating, had a block against the backboard, very good recovery, played very hard, he's physical, sets hard screens. I like what I saw out of him, and we know about Sims, he sets very hard screens, but I saw Micah Potter set some hard screens as well. So the ultimate sleeper is Quan Jeffries. He finished up with a good statistical game. He had 13 points in 22 minutes. He was 5 of 7 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds and 1 block. And it just looks like he wants it when he's out there on the floor. And this is someone I wouldn't mind signing to like a 2-way, Quan Jeffries. I believe he has some experience in the NBA. I think he played for the Kings a little bit a while back, but it just looks like he wants it from an aggressive standpoint. He rebounds the ball very well. And like you've ever known someone that's been on your team that's not like when you're little, they're not crazy talented or something like that, but they just outwork people when it comes to their hustle, and that's Quan Jeffries. Like, I thought he was playing very rock solid defense. He was just going down to the fundamentals of boxing out, positioning himself well, using leverage, rebounding the basketball, attacking. I'm not saying he's the lock to make the team, but I thought he impressed me. I thought he did a good job out there on the floor. But let me know down below your thoughts on this game. Did you take anything away from this game? I really appreciate your support. You guys are amazing. Peace out, y'all.